Hey, everybody, and welcome to a Tatter-a-fact here at the Girlz Inc. studio in Las Vegas. Welcome. Glad to have you all here. I thought that I would start this episode with a story of inspiration. And it's a personal story. And there's a really strong message behind it. So, and I think this is maybe a story and a message like a lot of people need to hear. I went through it and it affected me big time, like big time. This was like a big thing in my life. And so I wanted to share it with all of you. So back maybe 9 years ago, a lot of you know I have a color theory course online. And many years ago, about 9 years ago, it launched. It went live. And back then, there were not a lot of, or any like online training platforms, not like now. So many online classes and lots of different people have online training platforms. But 9 years ago, there wasn't a training platform per se. And there were not really many live webinars being done. It was very few and far between. So 9 years ago, I did a color theory webinar. Leading up to that live webinar on color theory, I had spent a little over a year building it, putting it together and building it. So it was a great course, and everybody from all over the world could take it, and it was needed. It was needed back then. People needed color theory, and it was a way for me to reach lots of different people. So spent about a year building it, and it was pretty much done and scheduling the date that I wanted to launch it. And someone really close to me in PMU, a good colleague, someone that had, given me advice throughout the years and I had leaned on throughout the years, said to me that, she said, Taryn, no one is going to sit through a color theory class for 4 or 5 hours and listen to you talk about color theory. No one's going to sit through that. It's just not going to happen. And that really, it affected me. I hadn't thought about that. And I did not think about that. I went into the building of this color theory class with the strong belief that people needed it. This was going to serve people. It was going to empower artists. It was going to be really valuable to artists and anyone from all over the world that needed this kind of education. It was going to be available. And so I believed in this project from concept through the whole year building it until I wanted this person to review it. And after reviewing it, she thought it was good. She thought it was very good. But she also felt and expressed that no one is going to sit through this. No one. It's just not going to happen. People get bored, and you can't connect with people through a computer, and no one's going to sit through this and listen to you talk about color theory. And it was devastating to hear that. And for a few days, maybe a week, I remember feeling, what if she's right? What if she's right? And I spent this whole year building this, and no one's going to be interested. No one's going to take it, or worse, And it really messed with me mentally. And I have a really good partner, as you know, Kat. And we spent quite a few days talking about it. And I went through a lot of anxiety and a lot of things, thinking this through, recycling her words, in my mind, just kept recycling her words. And then all the really bad things that could happen. And when it boiled down to it, what was the bad things that could happen? Well, nobody shows up when I launch it. No one signs up. Or possibly people do sign up and they are bored and they drop out. Maybe they ask for a refund. I don't know. Those were kind of like the bad things that were a possibility. But I kind of worked myself through that place of disbelief that I allowed myself to go to because of somebody else's opinion. And once I got on the other side of that, my belief in this project was stronger than ever, and I launched it. And not only, I had 100 people. I paid for a platform, a webinar platform that would allow 100 people. Not only did it sell out the first day, people were, upset that they didn't get in on the first class. We had a ton of emails. So we set a second date and that sold out. And I set a third date and that sold out. So I did this color theory class 3 days in a row. And not only did all those attendees, all those 3 different days, sit and listen to me talk about color theory for 3, 4, or 5 hours. They sat and listened to me talk about color theory for 9.5 hours. So when we launched the description, I didn't quite know how long it was going to take me to get through. I mean, you can talk through your PowerPoint in your class, and it will take you about 4 hours. But then when you launch and it's live and you're getting questions on the chat and you're engaging and answering those questions, well, that lengthens the time, which I really didn't account for. So yeah, it was like 9.5 hours of pure color theory, Q&A, engagement, connection. And do you know, she was wrong. She was wrong. I did connect with these attendees. The laptop and the distance between us did not prevent me or them from connecting with each other. We connected. And I taught, I mentored, and it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. And I almost didn't do it because of someone else's opinion. And that color theory course, to this day, 9 years later, is still very much thriving, vibrant, and helping artists. Lots of trainers use it in their own training classes for their own students. Artists of all levels take this color theory course. So 9 years later, it's still thriving. It's still very much active. I just refreshed it. I'm refreshing it right now after 9 years. It's much more expansive and added a lot of different things. And from that course, Beyond the Epidermis was born, that we launched not too long ago. So that course 9 years ago, that, she thought wasn't going to be successful or no one would take. Look at the purpose that it has served. Look what it's done all these years later. And not only was did it help a lot of different artists, and Beyond the Epidermis was born from it, and it's really been super valuable. But maybe the best thing that's come out of that course all these years is it really ignited the passion of color theory in lots of different people. So now they are really into color theory and are teaching it and paying it forward and doing wonderful things. So I guess the message in this story of mine is never, ever, ever, ever let anybody's opinion of you or a project convince you that you, your project, or your dreams are not worthy. Don't ever downgrade your belief in your own self or in a project that you believe deeply in to fit someone else's view or opinion of you or your project or your dreams, for that matter. I almost did. And it would have been a huge, huge, huge mistake, maybe one of the biggest mistakes of my life. So I think it's really, really, really important not to downgrade to fit your current reality, not to downgrade to fit someone else's opinion or belief in you, but to rather upgrade your faith and your belief in yourself. Trust your gut because it won't lie to you. And I think that's what got me through that week of doubt and being afraid that her words were true, was my gut. Because deep down in my gut, I knew I had built something very educational that would help others. And I believed in my gut people would take it. People would show up. I did. And she rocked my boat for a little bit, but I got back to my faith, launched it, and here we are all these years later. But trust your gut. It won't lie to you. But people certainly will. So that is my message of inspiration. I think that's just a great message, right? And I think it happens to a lot of people. I mean, if it can happen to me, then it can happen to a lot of people. And sometimes it's not even like PMU colleagues. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's your own mom or dad or brothers, or it can be your best friend, right? Telling you, well, that's stupid. When you share your dreams, maybe they seem so out of reach that someone else might look at that as, well, that's not even realistic. That's so stupid. Pick something else. Well, I don't agree with that. I think your dreams are your dreams. And if your convictions and your belief and your faith in yourself is strong enough, and you can't stop thinking about it. If you can't stop thinking about it, then it's worth going for. That's how I feel. So don't give people the power to do that to you. Have you guys, Olivia, have you ever had that happen to you? No? Have you, Willow?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes family, they want what's best for you, and what they think is best for you might not be the most, I guess, not taking the imaginative route. They want you to be realistic. Like I was always told by my dad to have a backup college and a backup plan, because you never know if you're actually going to get in. So like It's planting those seeds of doubt without really wanting to be doubtful, but like I know he was looking out for me. It was just, it's not what I needed to hear, because that made me feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm not good enough to get into the college that I want to.
Right.
But I still applied. I still got in. So I mean, I guess you kind of have to have that faith in yourself over the doubt of others. Like you said, you have to be able to take that criticism and just still go with what your gut is telling you. Yeah.
You can't let people's opinions of you be a tenant, in your brain, right?
Exactly.
Occupy space. Like when you're on a mission, when you're an entrepreneur, or you don't even need to be an entrepreneur, but you going to college, Willow, or Olivia, you setting your sights on a specific dream or goal, and that's what we want to do. There is no space, no room in your brain for doubt. There's no space, or other people's doubt, right? I think we can doubt enough all on our own that we don't need other people helping us out in that area, right?
And making the doubt even bigger.
And making the doubt even bigger, or maybe more real. Because if we're doubting ourselves, but which is normal, and there are tools that we should incorporate and use to knock that doubt the hell out, right? And get back to faith. But if other people also express the same doubt, maybe that validates the doubt we're personally feeling. We might look at that as, well, she or he, they also are doubting me when I'm doubting myself. So maybe, maybe that validates it. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. So I think we can get too caught up in that.
Make it harder for you to want to do it. Like, if you already have the seeds of doubt in your own head and then somebody validates that, it can make it way easier to just ignore that dream altogether and not go for it, even though you do have the desire to do it.
Yes. My younger self, I bought into what other people thought. I did. I don't know if that's all young people, if that's just because we don't have enough life experience or enough accomplishments under our belt yet. We're not mature enough yet, strong enough yet. I think that comes with time and life experience. But now in my life, like if there's something I'm going to do, if someone doubts me, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hang on to my cocktail, please, and watch me. That's kind of how I am, like nowadays, right? It's just, I just don't buy into it. But 9 years ago, I almost really did. Well, I did for a little bit, and it almost stopped me. So I think it's really, 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 really important. Really important. Not to do that, not to give people that power, and not to give our own thoughts of self-doubt, not worthy, not deserving, any power either. And that's really, really difficult. That's really difficult. Very difficult. You have to develop tools to actually work through those thoughts, because I think everybody gets those thoughts, right? It's just, do you allow those thoughts to sit, stew, recycle, and make decisions for you? Or do you find tools to disrupt those thoughts and remove them, right? And it took me many, many, many years to recognize the thoughts. Oh, that thought just entered my brain and it's not good for me. Because I don't even know if you recognize them, some people. Or when I was younger, I don't even know if I recognized it. It was just those thoughts were just there. I just thought it was normal. They're supposed to be there. Well, they're not supposed to be there. They come. We think, like 60,000 thoughts a day. Maybe for someone on average, the average person, 60,000 thoughts a day. Maybe someone like me, maybe it's twice that. Maybe it's like over 100,000 thoughts a day, because I'm a manic thinker, right? And I recycle thoughts. Learning tools. So I think the first step is recognizing that those thoughts enter, almost like an alarm goes off, like, red flag, negative thought just entered. Once it enters, now you have to find a way to disrupt it and remove it and keep it from entering again, right? And for me, my disruptor is, I have a song. I think I've played it for you guys, right? Bob Marley, Three Little Birds.
You have.
Don't worry, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. I love that song. Sorry, I can't sing. So, but I love that song. That's my disruptor song. I think everybody should have a disruptor song, or maybe a little playlist, but that's me. And then maybe get into an activity like gardening or something that I really love, taking my dog for a walk, something, just to get out of that thought or that thought pattern. So, and I want that for all of you guys listening, because it's super painful and it can be debilitating to allow those thoughts to stay and stew and to control your life and make decisions for you, restrict you.